Marking the fourth day of the pause, UN Chief Antonio Guterres released a statement commending the governments of Qatar, Egypt and the United States for facilitating this arrangement that has seen guns fall silent and the release of Israeli and foreign hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. The SG further indicated that while the pause had allowed for scaled-up humanitarian aid, that the amount still barely registered against the huge needs of about 1.7 million displaced persons in Gaza, warning that the humanitarian catastrophe in the enclave was only getting worse by the day. As diplomatic pressure now ramps up on both sides to extend the truce, including from the United States, with President Biden addressing the extension Sunday.
That's my goal, that's our goal, to keep this pause going beyond tomorrow so that we can continue to see more hostages come out and surge more humanitarian relief into those who are in need in Gaza.
Biden also spoke Sunday with the Israeli Prime Minister and, according to a White House readout, talked about the pause in fighting and the surge in much-needed humanitarian assistance into Gaza, vowing to continue working to secure the release of all hostages. But Israel was adamant that a return to military operations remained, for now, inevitable.
Here is also the framework that says it's possible to free 10 more hostages for every additional day of pause. This is welcome. In the same breath, I also said to the president that at the end of the outline, we will return with full force to achieve our goals: the elimination of Hamas, ensuring Gaza does not return to what it was, and, of course, the release of all of our hostages.
The Palestinian Authority indicating its openness to the pause being extended, with reports that negotiators were close to securing such an agreement.
Everyone is working. The Qataris, the Egyptians, the United States, the European Union, Spain, Palestine. We are all working to extend this truce by 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, we don't know. But the most important thing is to continue extending the truce, because extending the truce means stopping the killing. There is no other remedy but to end the war. There is no other option but to reach a ceasefire and work to extend it, to make it permanent. We have to end it. We must stop counting corpses.
As international consensus around the need to extend the pause only grows.
I welcome that the agreement between Hamas and Israel has led to the release of hostages and the delivery of more humanitarian aid. I call for an extension of the pause. This would allow for much needed relief to the people of Gaza and the release of more hostages. The suffering we have seen underlines the need for a lasting political solution.
This ceasefire is a good step forward, but it's not enough. I think that the large majority of the international community agreed that we need a permanent ceasefire, humanitarian ceasefire.
The UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says that the longer the pause lasts, the more aid humanitarian agencies would be able to send in and across Gaza. Pressure is also ramping up within Israel, with families of hostages still being held in captivity, arguing for the ceasefire to be extended and for the government to do whatever was needed to see all the hostages returned home. But Israeli leaders are adamant that any extension would only be temporary and that the goal of destroying Hamas remained unchanged, despite the goodwill on display by both sides over the last 4 days. Sherwin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.